how many things are sitting in the back of your mind right now. Maybe it's unstarted, maybe it's unfinished, maybe it's unspoken, but it's not because it doesn't matter, but really because you haven't made a decision about it yet. We tell ourselves that we're thinking about it, that we are waiting for clarity, but in reality, most of the time, it's not any of that. Most of the time, it's actually fear or doubt or shame, and it's all dressed up as preparation. If you feel like this is adding value, I encourage you to like and subscribe. But most of the time, majority of the time, it comes back to it is fear. It's the fear that's doing the talking. And I get it. I really get it because I have spent years knowing that I was meant to coach. And I'm talking years, like I've had it on my heart for so long. And I didn't even start until November, like actually putting myself out there. I've known I've had this gift. I have known that I love helping women feel seen and feel heard and feel strong. But I kept sitting like in this in-between space, this space of not taking action, right? And it just kept circling these same thoughts over and over again. What if I fail? What are people gonna think? Who am I to step up and do something like this? And I kept telling myself that I would go for it once things settled down, or once I felt more confident, or once I had the perfect plan in place and I had everything figured out. And if I'm honest, that delay and not taking action and not starting came with so much shame, because deep down I knew that I wasn't actually waiting. I knew what I wanted to do, and I kept coming up with all of these excuses. So in reality, it wasn't the excuses I made, but it was me just hiding. And I want to tell you something really honest. There wasn't this magical moment where everything lined up perfectly and I finally felt ready. That didn't happen. Rather, that shift came in the quiet. It wasn't in this perfect, big, powerful, like clouds parting, angels singing, big, powerful moment. Instead, it was the quiet. It was when I was finally like in a moment of stillness. And to be honest, I was probably sitting on the couch. At the end of the day, my feet were probably kicked up. I don't know. Dishes probably half done in the sink. That part I don't know exactly, but I know it was in the quiet when I finally got real with myself. And I saw another coach on my feed, this coach that I had been following for a long time, and she was doing exactly what I want to do. Her niche is a little bit different, but she still, and to this day, is so empowering to women and is such an inspiration. But instead of the first thought being like, let's get after it, let's go for it, my first thought was, what if I started last year? If I would have just gone for it, where could I be right now? If I would have started when this was on my heart several years ago, where would I be? And that gutted me, because I wasn't just frustrated, I was so disappointed in myself. But with that frustration, I made a decision. And again, if you were in my previous live, you heard me say, like, I tried multiple side hustles thinking that it would fill that gap and that need that I had on my heart, that I would be able to meet that passion that I have. But it was never fulfilled because I was never fully in alignment with what I wanted to do. So it was in that moment, in that quiet, in a conversation with my husband, and he was such a huge part of that too. Like, why are you holding back? If you know what you want to do, why do you keep trying these other things that aren't fully what you want to do? So I made a decision, and it wasn't to build a business overnight. And I mean, full transparency, I still get frustrated with my lack of progress, but that's the side of me that I'm still working on, the perfectionist in me that I'm still working on. Not to get it perfect, but to stop delaying my own life and my own choices and letting myself get in the way of it. So that's what I want to talk to you about tonight. And that's what we talk about in my second pillar, the empowered action plan. It's not about being fearless. Rather, it's about what you do when that fear is sitting right there beside you on that couch, or in those quiet moments when you finally have a chance to lay your head down at night. Most of the time when we say we're stuck, we're not actually stuck. We're undecided, or we're letting fear hold us back. And the longer you stay in that endless loop, the more it really starts to chip away at your self-trust. Every time you delay something that matters to you, you teach yourself, you teach your brain, and you wire your brain to believe that you cannot count on your own follow-through. And then that begins to show up everywhere. You procrastinate those hard conversations that you've been wanting to have. You keep putting off health goals that you've put in place for yourself. Or like me, you let this dream sit up on a shelf and collect dust until it starts gathering resentment. And then you sit there and wonder, like, why do I not feel like myself anymore? And just a few connection points. Maybe it's you want to start moving your body again. Right? You know that makes you feel good, not necessarily for the number on a scale, but because you want to feel strong and healthy in your own skin, in your own body. But every day you wait to feel motivated. Just like I was waiting for the perfect time to launch my business. You really, what you're doing, you disconnect from the version of you that actually wants that strength. The more you put it off, the more disconnected you're going to be from that. Maybe it's that you want to have a hard conversation, whether it be in your marriage, maybe in the job that you're currently in, but you are scared of what that might open up, which I validate. Again, like just relating it back to me, and I love what I'm doing now because the more I work on me, the more I feel like I can help others. And in this instance, it was helping out my husband and just a situation that he's in and really meeting him right where he's at about having hard conversations and just watching him talk through it and finally take the lead on it. Like, it was amazing. Was it scary for him? Heck yeah, it was. But he did it, and I am so proud of him for it. And that's what I want for you too. But again, those hard conversations come with that fear of what might be the end product of it. So instead of having it, you say maybe later. And then you go to work feeling resentful, or you go to bed feeling lonely, or whatever that is right now in the moment that you're in. Maybe you are like me and you want to launch this business. Maybe you want to change jobs. Maybe you want to go for something really bold, but you keep telling yourself, like I did, once I know it'll work, once I have that perfect plan in place. By the way, there is no perfect plan. You don't know if it's going to work. All you can do is show up and stay consistent. But the truth with that is you're already exhausted from carrying that decision without ever even making it. The moment you decide to move and actually take action is when that energy shifts. And it's not because it's easy. It's not. I'm not going to sit here in this chair and tell you that it's just been all sparkles and rainbows and butterflies since I've stepped out, but because you're finally in motion again, that's what's going to cause that energy to shift. That's when things start happening. That's when you start trusting yourself more and you rewire your brain to trust you more. And if this is hitting you in the gut right now, this is where I want you to start. Okay, your tool for tonight. First, start with name what you've been avoiding and pause this if you need to. I know if you're watching this live, you can't, but pause this if you need to, if you're catching this on the replay. Write down what you've been avoiding. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't soften it. This is just for you. Just name it. But also, I'm going to take a step back and say, don't beat yourself up for it either. That's not what we're doing right now in this moment. We're simply naming it, whatever it is you've been avoiding. Maybe you've been avoiding putting your offer out there. If you're one of my coaches that's in this group, maybe you've been avoiding looking at your finances. Maybe you've been avoiding a tough conversation that you've been meaning to have. Maybe you've been avoiding saying yes to something that you really, really want. Write it down. Start there. The next thing I want you to do is to shrink the next step. What's going to come next? And I am not talking build out this big 30-day plan. One bite-sized step that you can take next. Just one thing. Write the post. Schedule the conversation. Send out the email. Whatever it is, say it out loud. And then the final thing, ladies, that I want you to do, and this is probably the most important step, and it's the one that you'll always hear me say is the most important step. When you do it, celebrate it. And I mean it. That small step, it's not just a small step. It's huge. And again, it comes back to rewiring your brain, rewiring your subconscious mind to, I did the thing and I am proud of myself for it. And when your brain sees you being proud of yourself and truly celebrating it, it's going to make it easy to do again and again. So with that, let me ask you something. What if you stopped deciding that you needed the perfect time? What if you stopped waiting for that perfect time? And you just decided, you just took that next step. What would change if you dropped that shame and you stopped trying to make the perfect decision? Because there is no perfect decision, but rather you just made one aligned step forward. What if courage doesn't look like taking this big, massive, leaping jump, but it also didn't look like staying right where you are right now? Ladies, you're not stuck. You're not broken. You're definitely not behind. You're just standing in a moment right now that needs one thing from you, and that's a decision. A decision with one small step forward. It doesn't have to be a dramatic one. Doesn't have to be a big flashy one, just a clear step forward, and one that helps your brain to realize that you're not going to keep putting yourself off, that you're not going to keep putting yourself last. And also one that doesn't say, I need to do it all today, because you don't, but rather I will do something. And ladies, if this is resonating with you and you are thinking, I know what I need to do, I just don't trust myself to follow through, I encourage you to reach out to me. That's what my Fearless Foundations roadmap is for. It's not fluff, it's just your starting point. It is a mirror. It's your next step. All you're going to do is answer a few really deep questions for me. I review them personally, and then I get you a customized walkthrough in PDF format, as well as a video on what's keeping you stuck and your steps forward to rebuild that momentum. Okay. Drop roadmap or comment or message me roadmap if you want to do it in my messages, that's fine. And I will send you the information for it. You don't need the roadmap for a whole year. You can just need it for your next step. I encourage you, ladies, stop abandoning yourself. Stop also waiting for the perfect time or for this big perfect plan to be in place. Take it from me, you'll be waiting forever. And you're going to have that moment years later where you're sitting on the couch and you're saying, gosh, if I would have just done it a year ago or 3 years ago when it first popped into my head. Either way, I believe in you and I am right here when you need me and if you need me. If this speaks to you, I invite you to grab your free 3-day worth reset in the comments or description. But of course, I am empowering you always. I hope you ladies have an amazing night. If you feel like this is adding value, I encourage you to like and subscribe.